Hello, BookTube. Even by my freakish standards, this week has been rather book-centric. I have had, the whole time, access to a car and teenagers who were willing to take me wherever I wanted to go in exchange for ample amounts of food. uh, and as a result, in addition to all the books I've gotten in the mail, I've also, on almost every day, brought home a pile of used books that I've shown you, and the numbers are getting a little bit exaggerated, and I did that without remembering. Uh, then the first weekend of the even numbered months of every year, the Friends of the Boston Public Library organize and hold the library book sale, which is an event not to be missed. And that August is an even numbered month. So at the last minute, I thought, well, okay, so it's the book sale, but still, you're not going to go. A, it falls on a Saturday, which is always a difficult time to corral what one of the assistants at the library refers to as Sherpas. It's a difficult time to find uh, healthy-bodied young people to carry all the books. And B, it takes place after a huge week of book acquiring when I already have a huge number of books. But it didn't matter. And also there was a threat of cataclysmic weather, and that didn't matter either. None of it ended up mattering in the end. I went. So I went alone with a tote bag. And I found a bunch of great stuff, and I wanted to show it to you all. And the first two are made-up stories. The first two are fiction. There's a hardcover, something I've been looking for in hardcover, actually. The very first, this is Dies the Fire by S.M. Sterling. The very first book in his Amberverse series, which starts off the series. In this book, everyone's going about their business when all of a sudden everyone has a blinding pain in their heads for a fraction of a second, over almost before it starts, and suddenly no technology works anywhere in the world. Not even the technology that should work, even if an EMP pulse were to go around the world. Even the primitive technology doesn't work. In other words, as our characters find out right away because they immediately start experimenting, if you put gunpowder on a rock and strike it with a flint, it flashes and then immediately dies. Something has changed the chemistry of the world, so that not only do the higher technologies not work, planes fall out of the sky, but gunpowder doesn't work either. Everything is immediately shifted into the technology of the distant past. And all of these contemporary people in the Pacific Northwest have to find out ways to deal with it and how to live, and who will live and who will not live. And the first book is incredible, just incredible. And I admit, the series is incredible too. Ongoing series like this that are just open-ended tend to get my goat, because they tend to lose sight of their main purpose. If you write a book, no matter how good it is, in which a sudden mysterious event causes all technology to stop working and forces everybody to realign their worlds, whether you like it or not, you have dramatically invoked an arc to your story, and that arc is the explanation for that event. You can't just have that happen and then just keep telling stories for the next 30 years. You eventually have to explain that event. I find it very odd that I need to make that clear to modern day storytellers, but maybe I don't. Maybe S.M. Sterling knows just which side of his bread is buttered on, because he's continued to tell these stories without really ever inching his characters much closer to figuring out whatever happened to them all those years ago when the events of this book take place. But I've had this in paperback over and over again because I keep giving it away. It's so good. I was happy to find it in hardcover. This will be the one that I will keep. And now, every time I find a paperback, it'll be easy to give it away. And then the next one was a debut novel that I read and loved, and I got rid of it along the way, and like fiction, like contemporary fiction sometimes does, it stuck with me this whole time. And I've occasionally, reading other things, I've regretted that I got rid of it, and I found it again for dirt cheap at a library book sale. It's a debut novel called The Madonna of the Moon, by Rolf Bowerdick, and it's take place in a little village in the Carpathian Mountains in the late 1950s. The Soviet Union is at the height of its power. Sputnik is in the sky overhead, and it's all about the gypsy people who live there, and specifically one gypsy boy who is suddenly dragooned into an adventure that takes him out into the broader world, and it's just wonderful. It's absolutely, even in an English translation, it's just wonderful. It's the last thing in the world I expected to find at the Boston Public Library book sale in 2017, but I did, and now I'll be holding on to it. And then all the rest, I'm afraid, is nonfiction. But you knew that when you married me, including a hardcover of something I love, and I've had it in hardcover many times. I've had it in trade and mass market many times. Given it away every time, and it's Broca's Brain by Carl Sagan. More meditations of his on the science of his day, the nature of science fiction, one of his favorite subjects, the con games of flim flam artists, and also looking outward to the solar system, the sun, the planets, the moons looking at the time, looking at the skies and the biology that was coming back from probes, the planets that he thought might hold life, and it's just you don't care that science has superseded a lot of what's in here. It's so well done. It's so poetically and intelligently evoked that you don't care. You just read it anyway because it's so wonderful. And then a series of enormously fat histories and biographies. In fact, so many enormously fat histories and biographies in a row that when I was stacking them on the table, getting ready to leave, put them in my tote bag and somehow get them back to JP, I actually asked one of the workers there if the library would provide me with a Sherpa. If they would provide me with a healthy young thing between the ages of 18 and 22, sound of limb, sound of wind, and that I would feed them and return them in roughly the same shape in which I borrowed them. And they all laughed and said, "No, I'm afraid not." And I said, "What kind of a library book sale is this?" And they said, "We'll see you next time." So I had to carry all these things myself. I don't hear any sympathy from over there anyway. It doesn't matter. The first one is in this lovely Phoenix paperback, Russia in the Age of Catherine the Great. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that nice? It's by Isabel de Madariaga, and I remember it from when it first came out, but I don't think I ever owned a copy. I read a copy from the library. I think it might have been the Athenaeum here in Boston, where I borrowed a copy, or maybe the Boston Public Library. But to have a copy of my own, that's wonderful. I don't actually, at the moment, have any books on Catherine Russia except Massey's biography of her. So that's wonderful to find this. And then another biography. Very heavy, as usual. One of the huge, super heavy things that I got today. But a genuine find, a boxed set. I love box sets. It's the box set of Lou Cannon's biography of Ronald Reagan, Governor Reagan, and President Reagan. The 2 volumes that he did. The President Reagan book was The Role of a Lifetime. It had many, many editions. But when it came out, they decided to repackage both together in one box set. And there it was at the library for dirt cheap. God knows where my own volumes are. I think I have the President Reagan volume out in the biography section. Obviously, once I'm done building these towers of Babel, I'm going to have to go out there and sort what's what and how many things I've duplicated. But I couldn't leave this behind because I know I don't have the box set. And then the the next 3 cover a huge swath of American history, and they do so extremely neatly. The first one is a volume from the Oxford History of the United States. It's Gordon Wood's Empire of Liberty. Which is it's history of the early republic from 1789 to 1815 in this lovely, sturdy trade paperback. I've had all of the Oxford books over the years. The histories of the United States are wonderful. They're all wonderful. And it's hit or miss whether or not I've kept any of them. I don't think I have any of them at the moment. Now I have that, and I also have this, What God Hath Wrought. This is by Daniel Walker Howe, and it takes up exactly where the last one left off, 1815 to 1848. I read this and loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Wrote a review of it at great length, and was overjoyed to find it again, because I know I don't have it. And then the next one is by a great historian, Brenda Wineapple, and this is her book, Ecstatic Nation. And although it's not part of the Oxford History of the United States, by random coincidence, it happens to take off exactly where this is 1815 to 1848. This is Confidence, Crisis, and Compromise, 1848 to 1877. So I have a gigantic swath of American history that I've now covered in these 3 volumes. And this is her. It's just a fantastic book. Don't know why I didn't keep my copy when I got it. This came out in, when did this come out? 2013. So Open Letters Monthly, where I got a copy, was in full swing. I don't know why I didn't keep it. So, not only did I get an advanced copy and a finished copy for nothing, but it's a historian I love, a historian and biographer that I love. So no idea why I don't have it, but now I do again. And then the last thing, the biggest thing of all, was also the biggest deal. Just this is when library book sales really, really pay off. Look at this thing. Oof! This is the classical tradition. A gigantic, this is from the Belknap Press of Harvard University Press. This is a gigantic compendium of all things from the classical world. Literary trends, biographies, breakdowns of individual works, breakdowns of the architecture, the art, the history, the science, with a huge inset of color photos in the middle. Just an amazing volume to have and consult. And I got it from Harvard back when it came out. Again, same old song. I got it back when it came out in 2010, and got rid of it. And now I found it again. So there you go. It was an immensely heavy Boston Public Library book sale. And who knows? If I get this many heavy books next time, the next sale is the next even numbered month, which is October. I'm hoping that when I do this next time, I will have Sherpas. And when I was lugging these back here to Hyde Cottage, I thought, wouldn't it be nice if that was the date for SteveCon 2018, or a run-up to it? So October could be sort of a dry run when all of you who can come to visit do. And we make the Boston Public Library book sale sort of one of the events that we do. And if that works out, then in 2018, by gum, we make sure that maybe March we do the Boston Public Library book sale in 2018 for SteveCon. But one way or another, whether I have willing company or not, I will certainly be going in October. Who knows what gigantic volumes I'll find then. I'll try and draft a warm body or two. But in the meantime, there you go. That was the Boston Public Library book sale for August of 2017, and another pile of books to go up here. So I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.